much for.
Oh, thank you.
Again,
should I put my screen like this?
Well, I don't know. We can try.
Okay.
Thank you very much for doing this interview with me, because I know you've been very busy with the new Nervosa album, and I wish you all the best with that. So far, what I've heard is awesome. It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Truly, I wish for this to end and you can go and play, and we can all go and play.
Yeah, I hope we can make it soon, because this is, I don't know, it's like having an album and not being able to play live. It's like, now what?
Yeah, exactly. So I have some questions for you, and well, the reason I wanted to do all this is because I find it very interesting that there is all this interest for extreme metal vocals, you know, especially I think the last 4 or 5 years. It's been growing very fast. And there is all these people that they want to know, oh, how do I do this and how do I do that? And I think when we started trying out things, there was nobody to tell us what to do. So,
Exactly.
Yes. So I would like to focus a bit also on the performing and the recording aspect of the whole thing. Your experience with that, but also when it comes to teaching and vocal techniques and blah, 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 blah. So my first question is kind of like a small bio, like how long have you been singing extreme vocals? And if you learned this whole thing on your own, or if you had any other training, but not only specifically for extreme metal vocals, but also for melodic stuff.
I think, well, I tried for the very first time my approach to the extreme metal singing, I think like maybe 10 years ago, I think. But it was kind of frustrating because, as you said, I couldn't find any teacher or somebody that could help me. Even I've asked to other vocalists, and it was like, I don't have idea of what I'm doing. And for me, it was like, okay, so you can help me. And yes, I've been like trying on my own for maybe a couple of years. And for me, it was like, man, I quit because I couldn't find what I was looking for. And in the beginning, I remember that I was trying something completely different to my register nowadays. I think that was something closer to the vocal fry or something like that. But for me, it was like, this doesn't sound as, I don't know, Angela Gozo of Arch Enemy or George Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse or stuff like that. So for me, it was like, no, this is wrong. I must be doing wrong something. And I decided just to try to attend as many shows as possible. And I remember myself staring in the front row and trying to study the facial expression of the vocalist, the breathing, the diaphragm, everything. You know, it was like, I looked like a psychopath because my face was like, just trying to understand what was happening, you know. And then I used to go to my rehearsal room to try to repeat all that things that I've seen on the live show, but it was not something very good. So I needed a lot of hours just to find something similar. I discovered some tutorials on YouTube, but it was kind of confusing because of the name of the registers and things like that. And yeah, sometimes it was like, okay, this is growling. And then I found another video and it was growling as well, but sounded completely different. For me, it was like,
yes, exactly. There are so many words. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I would say, a nightmare, you know, because it was very hard for me to understand what was happening. And then our found member in Bloodhunter and guitar player, Danny, he know that I love to write stuff and that I was very interested in the black metal scene at that time. So he invited me to write some lyrics for one song. And then he asked me if I wanted to try to sing it in the rehearsal room with them. And I thought, yeah, this is my chance to try, really, not on my own only. And man, it was terrible because I asked them to leave the rehearsal room, just go everybody out, because I need to find
you did
the
good
sound. Yeah. It was terrible because I felt like I'm stupid, you know. I'm sure that people doesn't do this kind of things, but I had no idea of what I was doing. So it was like, okay, I need some time, so please go out and then I will call you back. And I used to see, looking at the wall, you know, it was like I was not sure at all of what was happening. And then I decided that I had to focus on the technique and the things that I probably couldn't understand. So I started to search for information on internet and try to perform some songs that I like, you know. And I really understood that I could never sound like some person particularly, because all of us are unique and have our own sound. So I decided to accept that I was not sounding like these guys, and I had to find my own sound. And I started to practice more and more with songs that I really liked. And that was the time that I started to record my very first demo with Bloodhunter on studio. So I think that all that practice made me like improve and being better. And then we recorded our very first album in 2014. And that was like the point when I discovered that, yes, recording like 11 songs, it was too much for me, because it was like I can sing like I don't know, 2 hours and that's all. And it was very difficult for me. It was a long process for me, and still nowadays I still have my vocal lessons and of clean vocals. But I think that this is a very important thing to study as well, independently that the register that you want to learn or perform, because you have many things in common. You have to know the basic stuff.
Exactly.
And
yes.
Yeah, in the beginning for me it was like, no, I don't want to learn these things, you know. But it was like I never did my warm-ups, nothing at all. And for me it was like, okay, I'm going to sing for 10 minutes and I'm dead.
Okay.
So, yeah, I learned like all the bad things that I shouldn't do, and I decided, okay, I'm going to do much better now.
So I think, you know, sometimes it's only one way to do all things wrong, because I think this is necessary for us to learn. Because you experience what is not good at all for you, and then you know, okay, I shouldn't do that the next time.
Yeah.
And also what you said about wanting to sound like somebody else, I think again that we all expect from ourselves to be, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this now and I'm gonna sound like are telling me yes, and then it's not like that.
Yeah.
And you get disappointed and you believe that something is wrong only with you and with your technique, but it's only, you know, the normal sound of you. You just need to experiment with that. So I think what you described, you know, it's the normal way of doing things until you get where you want to be. So
it takes time for sure.
Time and practice. And many times I hear people saying like, yeah, okay, will I be able to do that in 2 months? And it's like, no, no, because
Probably not.
probably not. Maybe yes, but probably not.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think in order to be able to sustain and maintain also the good health of your voice, you need to find your limits and where you feel comfortable at. You said that you still have singing lessons, right? So you have your teacher and you have your lessons. And to this point, I think it's also very important to say that we teachers do have our teachers too, because we need to evolve. It's very important for us too. So all this training, did you start it after you joined the Blood Hunter or before that?
I've been trying to take vocal lessons, I think since I was like in the beginning of my adulthood, but I quit in the past because for me it was very frustrating. I mean, I was trying just to learn extreme metal registers, and obviously all the teachers told me, no, okay, you have to learn first the basic stuff for cleans and then let's see. So yeah, I was watching myself now in the past, and it was like, okay, Aretha Franklin, it's awesome, I really love her, and Dio, it's amazing, but I don't want to sing this kind of music. So I felt like disappointed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this music in this school of music, and then I quit, and then I'm gonna try this one, and then I quit again. And yes, it was like from my 18 years old to my 22, it was like that. And then I stopped, and I think I started again like 4 years ago, because I started to play more live shows, and for me it was like exhausting sometimes, because it was like I don't know, maybe playing, working for the whole week, and then when you are out on Friday, you go to a place to play a live show, and then on Saturday the same, Sunday the same, Monday going to work again. And for me it was like my Mondays were like with these boys, you know. I started to be worried about that, because it was like, okay, people usually go on tour for 2 months and they don't talk like that. They are doing interviews, they are playing live shows, and everything's okay. You can be ill or sick for 1 day, I mean, but it's not the normal situation. And I started to be worried about this, so I decided to start again with vocal lessons. And I think that was a very good thing to do for me, because you know, when you learn alone, completely alone, you learn the good and the bad stuff also. So I had a lot of bad things that I shouldn't do, but I insisted in doing it because I thought it was good, and I was completely wrong about this. So taking again vocal lessons made me realize that yes, you don't know everything at all, and maybe you can even learn much better if you just try to be out of your comfort zone, you know, because doing always the same, it's kind of easy, but when you try new things, it makes you have a wider perspective.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so it was very helpful for you in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and still nowadays, even for this new album of Nervosa, for me it was difficult because Fernanda had another register different from mine, and I was worried about I cannot do everything like her. You know, I was trying just to do the same, and that was impossible. So I had to learn again how to approach from my own register to another different one with higher notes and different things to do. So for me, it was very interesting too, because I feel this evolution in my career also. So yes, it's very important to being always open-minded and ready to learn new things.
Very nice. Very nice.
Not much.
Okay. So my next question, with all, you are very active, like you have to teach every day and you have to write albums, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever have any problems with your vocal folds? Do you check them from time to time? What's the drill?
Yeah, this is something that I always wanted to do, but I think I'm kind of, I'm not sure if I am lazy or I am too fearful, you know, because of maybe I go to see a doctor and then something is wrong and it's like, oh my God. But I've never felt like very bad, you know. In the beginning, I remember during the first recording sessions of my very first album with Blood Hunter, I remember that it was Christmas. So I remember that we had to drive home because we were in Portugal and we lived in Spain. So we went back home to have dinner with our families, and I was completely out of voice. You know, it was like, hi, everybody. I couldn't say a word. So yeah, I think it was nothing like something very important, but yes, for sure, sore throats, dehydration of the vocal folds, some inflammation, something like that. Sure, yes, because in the beginning, I didn't take care of my voice at all. But yes, with time, I really learned also with the vocal lessons now that sometimes you have to take care of yourself, sleeping some hours, eat well, resting your voice, drinking tea that I really hate it, but it's something very good for me.
Yeah, who likes tea? Come on, only English people.
I don't know. I really hate it, especially ginger. Ginger tea, it's something that I can stand, but it's the best thing for me, indeed. So yeah, I'll do it. You know, anytime that I feel like, oh, something's wrong or I'm tired, I just drink tea all the time.
Okay, well, if it's good for you, then you do the right thing. Okay, so I have some questions about that too, but so far nothing serious. I mean, it's very normal, you know, that you trust your voice in a rehearsal and then for a couple of days you need to rest, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been teaching extreme vocals?
Not for so long, because I started just like with a coaching, you know, because I've had many friends from other bands that were like, maybe you can help me with this because I have this problem. And for me, it was very nice because I felt that, hey, in my beginnings, if somebody could help me like this, it would be awesome. So I think I'm doing a good thing for somebody, just with a few tips, because almost everybody had the same problem. I don't do my warm-ups. I don't rest at all when I needed to. I smoke a lot. I drink iced drinks before singing.
And then
like
we wonder why.
Yes, it was like, okay, I used to be so stupid as you, but I have a few tips to to teach you. So it was very easy in the beginning, and that made me realize that I could learn a lot from other people too, because they wanted to show me what they were doing, and I could just repeat what they were doing just to show me. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, I understand. This is vocal fry, or okay, this is okay, you put your mouth like this, and okay, and try. And I was like, it was a feedback. We both of us were learning in that process. And then I think like from 2016, I started to do it more seriously, and some music schools started to ask me for some master classes and things like that. And for me, it was like a very nice thing to do. I really like to do this kind of things because I feel that there are a lot of people interested, but they don't have idea at all about the vocal register, the technique, and so on. So just with a few tips, they just can find like the sound, and it's like very it's like fantastic, you know. People think like, wow, I can do this. And yeah, probably not, but you just can scream a few words, and this is good just for the first day, you know. And it's like, okay, I feel that I can help very easily in that way, and it's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen your videos, and they're great. I think you you inspire, you know, your students to try out things. I can see that they get excited, and yeah, I think it's great what
Wow.
you're doing.
Thank you.
Oh, really,
Yeah,
really.
for me, I mean, I don't have like I've never been in a professional music school studying, you know, full time or something. I don't have a degree in vocal technique. All that I know, it's from taking vocal lessons and just studying on my own. But I think when you just learn the basic stuff in this register, that it's much easier than singing clean. It's quite easy to try to translate it to words to other people. So for me, obviously, I never could be a teacher for clean vocals, you know, because I don't have any degree at all. So anytime that somebody asks me, it's like, no, I can help you with that. That's not my thing, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. But what you said about you said something about the masters or university. You said something. Do you teach a curriculum or?
No, I don't have like a degree or something. You know, I've never studied like that in a music school. I don't have a master or something. But here in Spain, we have this thing like master classes. There are like vocal lessons, but with experts in some type of concrete things. So sometimes there are a lot of music schools that have a degree in rock school, that maybe you have something similar there.
I think I saw something like that somewhere in Spain. I
Yes.
think I saw something, and it was, you know, like a surprise, like, oh, something
Yes,
like that
but
exists.
yeah, really. And it's like a professional title, you know, but they don't teach extreme vocal singing or something like that. So they are very interested in offering that to their students because it's something new and can be interesting for them. So we have like a class for one day, maybe like an intensive for 5 hours or so, and people just go. It's not for free, but if they are paying for, you know, like a course or something, they can go there and attend the vocal lesson. It depends on the music school. Yeah. Well, here in Spain, we have a metal academy that started like recently, and it's very inspired in the academy. I don't know, I don't remember the name. Maybe probably, you know, Marcela Bobbio and some people from Epica are working in an academy in the Netherlands, and they have this method called the universal voice, and they are teaching growling as another register, like another possibility for your vocal training, you know. And this is very interesting. Yes,
very interesting.
Yes, they don't have this method in English yet, but last time that I heard something about this, it was like, we're working on it, so maybe in the next years could be available for everybody. And that would be amazing, because then we could really study what we're doing and have these concrete names for any stuff, and that would be very helpful for sure.
Yeah, because many people are interested in that, and they want to know also more technical and more anatomical stuff, and it would be very nice. Oh, great!
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. Like, as a teacher, Do you think that analyzing more the anatomy sometimes of the larynx or the vocal cords, do you think that it helps the students? Do you think it's not helpful at all, or they should be more like with their emotion and with their intuition? What's your thought on that?
I think everything is important because our instrument, it's not like easy to see. You know, you can play keyboards and you know just the things that you're touching, and this is this note and not this other one. But with the voice, everything is completely different. So I think that understanding just a little bit, I mean, you don't have to know exactly all the names of any single thing that you have inside, but yes, knowing that if you work with your larynx, that if you work with your palate and things like that, you will find much easier this register or this sound that you're looking for. And yes, for me, in the beginning, I was like obsessed about knowing what was happening, you know, because I work as a nurse, and for me, the anatomy, it's like everything. It's the most important thing, because if you know where it is, you will know how to use it. And it's not always like that, but I think absolutely helps, and it's very important. And also emotions, because especially for rolling, if you're not in the right mood, nothing happens, you know. And there are a lot of people that it's like when you're tired, or maybe you're a bit sad because you had a very rough day, it's like, oh, I can do that. I feel like I'm tired and I cannot do this. And that was a thing that I really love to work also on my lessons, because people just went like, wow, this is amazing. I feel much better now because I feel like all this energy. Yes, it's amazing. It's just endorphins, you know, because you're working like when you're going to the gym or something like that. And yes, it's like kind of therapeutic, I think, in a way.
Yeah, I agree. And I always say what you say, I also say to my students, like most of the times there is this combination of the energy that you have and the emotion that you have with your technique. And sometimes maybe you have a great technique, but it's not a good day because you are very, very tired, you know, anything can happen. So you should respect the feeling of that day. But I think that knowing more helps a lot. People might be in the beginning, you know, a bit more like, oh, okay, what's that now? But if you go a bit further, then they get interested. And I think it's basic to know your system. You need to know it. So, okay,
because absolutely. Because then sometimes you are watching a tutorial and somebody says, you have to do this with your larynx. And it's like, okay, and how do I know when is my larynx working? You know, it's like, okay, and how can I know that this is working like this? Or it's important for sure. It's not easy because you cannot see nothing at all. But you need to know. Sure.
Yes, I agree. So for the metal world and the extreme metal vocals, the most well-known vocal technique is Zen of Screaming from Melissa Cross.
I saw that.
Melissa, hello.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't understand nothing at all, because for me it was like, okay, but this is not the sound that I'm looking for. And for me it was very confusing also in the beginning. It was like, okay, this is not growling, so I'm doing wrong, or she's doing something different, or what? Yeah,
I think, you know, because we all had the same feeling in the beginning. You need to know, I think, a couple of things in order to understand all the things that there are inside the DVDs. But I wanted to say that this is the most popular, let's say, metal vocal technique. But there are also other very well-known techniques like Estill, like a complete vocal technique, speech level singing, and we have all these techniques that in the beginning they were for the muscle tensions, like Alexander technique or Feldenkrais and all these things. But now we are adapting them to there in the singing process. Do you use any of these techniques, or do you use another technique, or do you do your own stuff? I mean, what's your approach when it comes to this?
So it depends on the person that comes to the vocal lessons, you know, because sometimes it comes people that never had a vocal lesson before, and they just want to know how to make that sound and nothing more. I mean, sometimes I had like people, professional musicians that were working in, I don't know the word in English. They're working for the Lion King in theaters and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm terrible because I forgot the word.
No, don't worry.
Well, I mean, they are musicians working in theaters for playing shows, like for movies and stuff like that, you know, like for Flashdance or Lion King, things like that, you know. And they come because they want just to find that position inside, just to do like a slow fry or something like that, to start to say some phrase or to sing something kind of dirty with some distortion. And they come just for that, just to know where's the position. So they don't obviously need me to explain the whole thing, you know. It's just like, okay, you understand the anatomy, so I'm just give you a few tips and we're going to try how to do this. It's very simple for me with that kind of people, you know. It's like, use your mouth like this, use your diaphragm. The only thing that I probably use all the time is the metronome, but not any particular method in common, because it depends a lot, you know. I have also people that never took vocal lessons and don't have idea about anything at all. So I just try to explain a little bit, something about the anatomy, something about the different registers, and just a few exercises to access to that place inside, so they can
it depends on the level. If they are beginners or advanced, or
the most that I have, they are beginners or people that never tried extreme metal singing before and they just want to try. So yeah, it's like progressive.
Okay, great. So as we've seen at your videos, you're capable of doing almost everything.
No.
Come on, like grunting, growling, fry scream. I think you're very versatile with that. Do you have a personal favorite technique, or do you have a technique that you are very pissed off that you still haven't managed to do?
Sure. I mean, I can do just a few types of different kind of screamings, but only that, because when I try to sing phrases, it's kind of complicated for me. So the register that makes me piss off the most, it's vocal fry for sure, because I'm used to singing, doing the opposite of the control breathing, the use of the diaphragm, everything. For me, it's just the opposite. So it's like, okay, I won't move, because if I move, everything will be wrong. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
I'm like
for me.
frozen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, no, nothing happens. You know, for me, my favorite register, it's rolling, because it's the register that I've been working on all these years. And for me, it's the most comfortable and I'm very used to it.
Just to, for the people that are watching this interview, we are using these terms like growling and grunting, but there are many people and many teachers use these terms differently. We are talking now specifically about what Diva is doing at her songs. So don't be surprised if another person says growling and means something different. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we can go on.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so you would like to be, so you like ice cream and you would like to be more consistent with that, but
Yeah.
you prefer, of course, what you are doing. And I think
yeah, in the beginning for me, my first obsession was to sound very powerful and very loud. So for me, growling was perfect because vocal fry has a lower level volume. But then I realized that I could not sing very long phrases with growling. So with vocal fry, you can do that. And it was like, man, this is a bad thing for growling. And then my next obsession was just trying to add some melody, because with growling you're very limited. The range is not very wide, so you just can do very deep growls and some high notes, but it's not too much, And with vocal fry, you have another chances of doing things much into the melody. You can add a bit of melody. So in these last months, I've been working on that because for the Nervosa album, we had this problem of, okay, I have a different register from the previous album. So how the hell I'm going to sing the old songs?
Yeah.
So different from this. And yeah, I've been working my ass off with our producer in studio just to find like a balance between both of them. So I just discovered that yes, I can sing with a little bit of melody sometimes, and that's amazing because it makes you not feel bored when everything is so blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah like that. It's like, no, that's not very good.
Now this whole thing, it's becoming a bit more complicated. This is just a parenthesis I'm saying now, because, I like very much the fact that we can discuss and be geeky about that. So now we are talking about mixed effects, for example. This is what I'm struggling right now. Okay, let's say that we have a nice ice cream, and then you want to make it more powerful, and then a teacher says, oh, okay, we're gonna add some false chords there, and you're like, what?
No.
And then it gets so complicated, and of course the only solution to that is to see with an endoscopy what you are doing, because otherwise you are going crazy. But I think this combination of fry, scream, and grunt, or fry, scream, and growl, this I find very, very difficult. And I think sometimes it has to do a lot with what were your influences, because if you start imitating somebody from like when you were 15, then it's easier for you to adapt without knowing what sort of technique is that. So
for sure.
I wanted to share.
Yes, in my case, when I started listening to extreme metal, for me probably the very first one was Sabina Klassen from Holy Moses, and she sings with a register kind of similar to my own style. So it was, as you said, easier to imitate. But when I discovered some progressive metal bands or some alternative ones, for me it was so difficult, because it was like, no, this sounds completely different, and I cannot do that. It doesn't sound the same, For example, with bands like, I was a big fan of The Agonist, and I don't know, OTEP and Eds. That was a progressive French band that I really, really liked. That was like my very first attempt into
they were great.
And for me it was like, man, but I cannot do that long screamings. And then I realized that, okay, this is a different technique. So you'll never sound like that if you don't do just the same. And yes, it's been a struggle just to understand that you can learn different things, but sometimes it's better just to focus on something to improve and evolve a bit.
Yeah, because then if you find, you learn all the techniques and then you find what suits for you best.
Yes,
Problem
yes.
solved. Do you have some, let's say, SOS exercises, like maybe you are on tour, or maybe you wake up to go to work and then your voice is like, oh, I cannot do anything. And I guess that if you are on tour, it can be very stressful. Do you have any sorts of SOS exercises, or also has that ever happened to you now that you are more, let's say you are doing this more? Like, I'm not talking for 10 years before, for what you told me about that rehearsal at the 24th of December. But now that you are more experienced, do you have, my English suck. You know, you understand what I want to say.
I understand everything, don't worry. Yes, I mean, it's easier for me to know if I'm okay or not, because my normal voice is just like this, but I'm too lazy to use my diaphragm daily to speak. So normally I just speak like that. And this is terrible because you can be talking like that all the time. And yes, I just know if I'm okay, if I can do this, like talking to you properly, and it's no problem with that. Next step, it's like trying some lyrical stuff, like using the position of the and stuff like that, you know. So if I cannot do that, I'm fucked up because something's wrong with my vocal cords, and probably I need to rest, or something is wrong out there. But as I need to use my diaphragm all the time, my SOS, it's a very simple exercise, just pushing my ribs and using my diaphragm. It's like 14 pushes with my diaphragm to the front until 14, and then below. And then again, and then only pushing down, and again. And then I feel like more active, because yeah, sometimes you drive for 5 hours and then go into the next city and you feel tired, and the show starts very late, so you don't feel like very powerful. You don't have that energy. Yeah, so for me it's very important just to stay active and trying these kind of exercises. If I feel that I'm very tired because my muscles are like lazy, I know that I have to work more, and I start my warm-ups, and my warm-ups are very simple. I just try to stretch all my body, because I need to use my ribs and my shoulders pretty much, just to open and take a lot of air.
So to regain your energy.
I do that. I just do my using my diaphragm, and not many scales, because I really think that it's more important for me just to warm up with my diaphragm and my breathing, that with only my vocal cords, you know, because for me it's more with the false cords. So yes, with the I feel it perfectly okay. And then that's and sometimes when I feel kind of wrong, I try to open my throat, doing the blah all the time with scales, sometimes like blah 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 blah. Or I don't know the word in English again, but doing this like ba 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 ba, like with quints. It's all for me, you know.
So you have developed your own warm-up routine for you, for your body, and it's very good that you know if something happens, you can use some simple things and be okay. So I hope nothing bad ever happens, but if it does,
Please,
you
no.
have a solution.
You know, there are many people giving you many advices about, oh, you're not sounding very good, you should try these pills or this stuff. And for me, okay, I just listen to anybody because it's interesting for me to learn new stuff. But I don't know if you've heard about the Jelly voice or the vocal song and stuff like that. For me, it doesn't work very good because I don't need to feel like this kind of fluids on my throat. I just need to like water. You know, for me, like this kind of pills make me feel like very sticky, and I don't like that feeling because I feel that I cannot sing and nothing seems like very all the vibration. You know, so I heard a lot of stuff.
I haven't tried anything from this because we don't have these things here. And
no, we don't have them here. Just ordering about the internet, you know, it's not like in Spain we don't have nothing like that.
Here too. I would like to try out some things because I like you say I want to hear opinions. Maybe something good comes up.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I have two more questions. One has to do with the working out our body, maybe some cardio or whatever. Do you think this is something really important when it comes to extreme metal vocals, or you think I don't use it at all? I don't do this.
Yeah, there's a common topic that many people ask me in the very first class. It's like, I need to work out with my abs to get stronger, or no, it's not about that. You know, you have to work with your diaphragm, but it's here, so you probably will associate with your abs, but it's something different. So it doesn't matter if you're very strong, because you have to use your diaphragm, not your arms, not your, you know. And yes, this is something that people really ask very frequently. But apart of that, yes, I think that staying active, as I was saying before, it's very important, because if your body doesn't feel okay, you won't be able to do many things with your instrument that it's your own body. So yes, I think it's very important. I mean, I'm not a person that works out daily, you know, but I try just to I walk every day, like for an hour with my dog. I have a very big dog, so he walks very fast. And then I do some routine, like 3 times per week, just to stay active. And yes, I think there's something important in relation to that, not with your body, but with your breathing control, that if you work with your resistance, and everything will be much better, you know, because when you have a life like a lazy life, you know, like doing nothing, probably your lungs won't be very developed, and you won't be able to do many complicated things in terms of singing long phrases and having some resistance. And yes, I think cardio, it's important for these kind of things. But yeah, also having like your routine, the same like with warming up, it's something important. And I realized that anytime that I spend like 4 months without doing nothing at all, because in summer especially, I just can do nothing, you know, except yeah, for me it's terrible, because I feel like my blood pressure goes very down, and it's impossible for me to work out. But except for summer, anytime that I spend like many weeks without doing nothing, I feel that my body, it's not able to do the same stuff, you know. It's like your body becomes a little bit tired, and everything, it's much more difficult. And I just can see that with my weight also, because when I check pics from all shows or something like that, and I see that I was like in more fat, you know. When I was like
you were never
more
fat, no.
Oh yeah, some years ago I was kind of fat because, you know, my face was like
Oh no, I
Yes.
don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear it. So yes, when I have like more weight, I feel that everything is much more difficult for me. I feel like I'm very slow and I don't have the same control breathing, and everything it's like very complicated for me. So I just have to watch what I eat from time to time because I'm a food addict. And yeah, it's very difficult for me. Yeah. It's like, okay, if you eat all this amount of food that you obviously don't need, okay, going for a walk. Yeah, it's for me, it's when I start, I just can't stop, you know, and there are months like that. So I have to.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, I have to pay attention to these things much more even than working out, you know, because it's I lose control.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But also, you know, what you are doing with your singing and all this stuff, I mean, also teaching, it's very demanding. So
Yeah.
being careful with the food and with the working out, I think it's a way of maintaining your strength. So because
Yeah,
our body, you know, we can work out like every day, and then like if for 3 days we are lazy, then
no.
again we have to start almost from the
Yeah.
beginning, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, I have my daily job and I have family and stuff, so I cannot work out every day. You know, it's
Yes.
impossible for me. I don't have time for that. I wish I could. I really like sports, and for me, it would be amazing working out every day, but I can't do that. And it happens to me the same with rehearsing. I just cannot rehearse daily. So for me, just like having a couple of days in the week for rehearsing, it's more than okay because I don't have time for more stuff, and finding that balance, it's very complicated. And that was another thing that made me decide to be back to the vocal lessons as a student, because it made me just practice. You know, it's like, okay, you have to practice now because it's time to. And yeah, that was the
You know,
main reason.
because it's the way of living that leaves you almost no free time to do stuff. It's not realistic to believe that you can work out, you can practice, you can do this and this and this, and it's only
No,
24 hours, you know, per day. But
no.
so you are your job is being a nurse.
Yeah.
Hey.
As I said,
Hey. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, and last question for today has to do with the recording process. I don't know about you, but most of the singers, you know, we enjoy more doing the live show instead of recording.
Me too.
Recording can be so stressful, and you almost never have the same adrenaline and the same power. So the first thing is if you stress out when you are about to record, and the second thing is how long ideally is a record session for you, because I've heard like I know people that they record 1 hour and that's it, and then they go the next day for another 1 hour. I know people that go for 2 hours, for 5 hours. So what's your ideal situation?
Well, I think the perfect timing would be like not more than 5 hours per day, because then I feel exhausted, you know, and the following day maybe I won't have a sore throat, but I feel like, like I've been working out for 10 hours, you know, and it's very demanding for me physically. So just like 5 hours, it's the most that I can be on studio. Obviously, like a couple of times within this Nervosa album, I've been like for 7 hours even, or something like that. Some days, not every day. But yes, that made me had to stop one day in the middle of the week because it was too much, obviously, for me. So
of course.
yes, 4 or 5 hours, it's too much and it's enough. And then you can go the following day and working again, and no problem at all. And yes, I've been working in many different ways. Sometimes I've been working like for 2 hours and that's all, and then the following day. But I discovered that that's like a little bit for myself, you know, because I feel that I could do like I've been singing for maybe 2 more hours, you know, and I feel that yes, we're going to finish like 2 or 3 songs per day. So the whole time of the recording sessions will be shorter. And I don't feel that I have to be here locked up for a month, because I just can't stay so focused on the same stuff for 1 month, 24/7 per day, you know. But yeah, if you need it because you just can't sing for 4 hours and you need to stay the whole month, but you cannot do nothing about it.
Yeah, of course. Okay,
yeah.
but I think 4 hours, I think it's a lot.
Yeah, it's more than enough, I think.
Yeah. And depending, of course, on the way you work, or how for how long is it booked, you know, the studio. And okay.
And yes, I get very stressed.
Okay.
I mean, when I think about going to the studio, I'm not stressed. I don't feel anxious. But when I'm working on it and I start to see that this is not working, I could this better and stuff like that. That's when I feel stressed, and it's like, oh my God, and tomorrow more, and yeah.
Yeah. I think this will never change.
Yeah.
We all feel the same. I totally get you. But that's it. Okay, we'll get used to it maybe someday.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. Well, those were my questions. Thank you so very much for your time, and you're so kind. And
oh, thank you.
Really, and I like very much what you are doing, and also now with the girls, it seems very. Now it's the time again. My English are abandoning me.
Don't worry.
I think you are very much on a very good track, you know, with this.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much.
I think you have found your sound, because how you sound now, it's not how you sounded some years ago. I wish you the best of luck. And again, thank you very much for doing this interview. And yeah, maybe sometime we'll meet again.
Yeah, sure. You know, Eleni showed me your videos when we were in the studio in Malaga. And for me, it was like, oh my God, wow. We were like, every night we were watching your videos. And
really?
we were like,
thank you.
Yeah, for me, it was like, it's in Greek. You won't understand a single word. And for me, it was like, okay, I don't care. I just like to try to understand what they are working with, the techniques and so on. So yeah, for me, it was
I did the same. I did the same with your video too. I couldn't understand a single word, but okay.
He was like, oh, okay. Yeah, she showed me a lot of stuff and videos of yourself. And yeah, it was like when you wrote me a message, it was like, wow, this is awesome, you know. So thank you. Yeah. For me,
very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And yeah, I wish you the best of luck, and with all the things you do, with your job. And
same to you. Hope you're doing amazing, and this shit is over as soon as possible, so we can meet.
We can
Yeah.
meet and drink beers and say yamas.
Yeah.
Yes, all
Yeah.
the stuff. Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you
talk
so much.
again.
Yeah, sure. Whenever you want. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.